Welcome back to the Voice of Metal. I'm definitely going to do a sound check to make sure that I have a sound because last time I had a mistake and I thought I was talking to you all, and apparently it was definitely not doing what I thought. So it sounds like we got it going on. Okay, so you know, this is about some of the biggest or greatest thrash metal albums of all time. This is per the Pit. I'm taking their list to see what they think is some of the top albums. So, the first one on the list right now is Ride the Lightning Metallica, which definitely is very awesome. Um, that's the old school Metallica. I'm sure a lot of people still love the old school songs and still enjoy those today, even if they think they sold out later on, which I know a person personally that does feel that way, which I can totally get it. He says he still, listens to some of the other songs to a point, but it's not the same, which I definitely agree with him. It's not the old Metallica, but from my point of view, I guess the way I see it is if they didn't evolve, they wouldn't have been as successful as they are now because it would have been stale. They probably would have ended up like so many other bands out there, um, maybe metal bands that may not be around, may not be playing anymore. It's hard to say, but you never know. It's kind of interesting. They also talk about the song "Kill 'Em All," which is kind of rather interesting. It's on there, which made was it in turn made Red Light a much more thrilling experience. Okay. Oh, coming off of Kill 'Em All. Okay. I didn't read the whole thing. I was kind of summarizing or trying to. Anyway, even to this day, while the band is still heavy, this album both captures and presents the veracity that many fans miss from Metallica, which, yeah, I definitely agree with. I think they're right on that article. Because you never know. It's one of those things that that's not quite the same as it was when it first came, when they first started. And it's kind of went different ways. I think some of it was heavy, and then later on it kind of got a little different because they were experimenting, and then they got some weird, way off type stuff later on, and then all of a sudden they've got these other ones that are kind of like, it's like okay, I'm not so sure about this, and then there's one that like I think Sank Anger was probably one of the heavier albums that they put out later on. Because there's some that it's a lot different, like Frantic Tick Tick Tock. It's interesting. It's not quite the old Metallica. It's a totally different sound. And then later on they had, I think it was Death Magnetic was maybe on their first album of their own without any label at all. It's their own label, the Blackened album. I think that's the one. I could be wrong. Or see that the one after that. But anyway, I'm gonna move on to the next song because I'm gonna try and make this close to 15 minutes. If I do something that's longer than 15 minutes, I might end up doing like two segments or maybe make it 20 to 30 minutes, and that's about it. I'm gonna try. We'll see. Anyway, South of Heaven from Slayer. That was really good. I liked quite a few songs off of that one. I don't remember every single song off of that. It's a rather interesting one. And that and some of the other albums. I mean, some of the other songs, like Raining Blood, of course, and all that stuff. Gotta love that stuff. And several other songs that they had. Oh, South of Heaven is one of the songs. Yeah, I don't know if I've heard. I think I have. I'm sure I have. I just probably don't recognize the name with it. Now, this is one group I do not know at all. So I'm going to have to listen to this so that way I can say yes, it's good or bad because I have no idea. But the Power Trip title reminds me of the Great Southern Trendkill or even the Death, no, Static X's Wisconsin Death Trip, which reminds me that, with the trip and the power kind of reminds it. But it's from Nightmare Logic, which is kind of interesting. Um, it's rather interesting how they talk about. It says by integrating more prominent hardcore aggression into their songwriting, Power Trip has brought such a refreshing take on the sonic extremity to today's scene. I'm gonna have to listen to this because I didn't know that. Unfortunately. So if you guys, bash me about this, I'm sorry. It's like I had no idea. Anyway, that's interesting. Okay, well, we're going to go on to the next one since I don't know that one. This one I definitely know, and I actually got to see them play it live. Both Max and Igor Cavalier were at the Oriental Theater in Denver. I've seen several bands there. Definitely love the place. It's really great. So if you ever go to Denver, check out Oriental Theater. They're phenomenal. It's like an old like really classic like movie theater type style thing, and it's got this nice little. It's mostly for like plays and stages, and they do other things besides just concerts. Um, I think they do wrestling there and some other things, so you might have to check that out for the wrestling. But anyway, besides that, they basically did the Beneath the Remains, which is cool. Hey, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I got one viewer. Awesome to have somebody here live. I don't know if they're going to say anything, but we'll see. And I might not see it, so I apologize if I don't see it. Anyway, going on, Beneath the Remains is one of the albums that I didn't know as well, because I think I started off with KSAD when I was younger and in high school, and I was watching Headbangers Ball on MTV. That was the way I got my metal, because that was the only place I knew some of these albums, some of the songs. I knew like Biohazard and I'm trying to remember some of the other bands that they had. They had Infectious Grooves, and I think they had Suicidal Tendencies. Those weren't quite metal. I think Slayer was on there, of course, which I didn't know quite as well. I think Sacred Reich might have been on there, but I'm not certain. But anyway, Beneath the Remains was, and it still is, definitely a good album, because even though I didn't know it that well at the beginning, I definitely enjoyed it. At least some of the songs, because I heard a few here and there. And then when I got to the concert, I said, okay, if they're going to be playing this specific album, and that's what it said on there, I think, I need to know the songs. So I wanted to listen to the songs. So I was listening to them constantly for a while. And thank you for the second viewer. I appreciate it. And I'm saying, okay, what would make this better than anything else is to know the songs, know some of the words. And quite frankly, I think it was great, because I mean, it was awesome. I got to see that. Plus, I also got to see some. It's a Black Sabbath song. I'm trying to remember the name of the song offhand, but it's really great because they turned off all the lights in the theater. That's what Max said. Turn off all the lights, and everybody turn on your phone lights, right? And you see the sea of all these wonderful lights. Everybody in the theater were acting as one. See, that's like I said, the big metal family. That's what I'm talking about. This is what I want to do when it comes to talking to the artists, which I'm hoping that you will like and subscribe. Headbang the like and subscribe button right now, because the more people that like and more people that subscribe, maybe the amount of people that we have watching before they get here, I'll say, look, I've got X amount of people that are interested in talking or knowing about what you guys are all about. The people in the music industry, the metal bands. Not just the music, but the people behind the music. And actually, it'd be really cool to maybe even have some of the people who do the behind the scenes stuff, like sound checks, and maybe the guys that do the guitar, kind of tweaking the guitar to make sure it's ready to go for the band, and maybe even the guys who set up the whole set, the lights and the all the stuff that goes behind and into a production of a concert, right? That'd be kind of cool. So I'm hoping, so don't forget that. That's very important. You guys got to do that for me, okay? The other thing is, the next song on their list is Bonded by Blood. And I have listened to several songs on this one. I don't remember which songs are on there, because I haven't always listened to Exodus, unfortunately. But they do have some really good stuff, and I really like their music. I'm trying to get into some of the more bands I don't know as well, especially now that I can actually listen to whatever I want to. So I have this nice little thing on YouTube Music, which is phenomenal. You can pick the bands that you want, and then what you can do is you can do blended, you can do discovery, you can do familiar, and then you can go deep cuts, you can do familiar, and I think some, oh yeah, and energetic and powerful. Just depends on what mood you want to set it for. So it's really great for that. So if you ever want to, check out YouTube Music. It's really phenomenal. Trust me, I love it. I don't know about Spotify if it has that or not. I had a Spotify account for a while, and I did love it. It was great because they did have some recommendations for music and things. So I don't know how it differs. So I'd have to. I do have an account still. I just don't have a paid account anymore like I used to. Let's move on. Oh, what song was there? Is it? Do they have a song on here? No. Well, Okay, well, we'll move on. Anyway, because I'm trying to keep this one to 15 minutes. I'm already at 11. The Gathering from Testament. I think I do know which. I don't have the album cover on here, unfortunately, so I don't remember exactly which one is, but I'm pretty sure that I do know The Gathering. The Gathering is one of the songs that they definitely were talking about in the article, saying it's a really interesting, stands today as one of the most ferocious sounding thrash albums ever. Testament has gone on to make another awesome records, of course, but The Gathering remains a very special release, which I agree with because I have heard. I'm pretty sure I've heard this one before because I've heard different ones, and I don't ever see the album covers or the names of the titles. I usually find out the name of the song that I like, but I'm trying to remember what one of my favorites, and I can't. It's so awesome. It's really cool. Excalibur. Now, Excalibur. I think I've played some of their songs, but I'm not certain. So I'm gonna have to put that on my list of stuff. And Mind Force. This is rather interesting. So basically, Mind Force around the time of Suicidal Tendencies, Anthrax was around, apparently, which I did not know that at all, but I'm gonna definitely have to check that out because that's one of the ones I do not know as well. So unfortunately, I used to listen to Pantera, of course, and some of the more well-known bands. Oh, Megadeth, Rust in Peace, of course. Now, just so you know, when I started listening to Megadeth, it was basically with an Euthanasia, Symphony of Destruction, that the album that was in, Cryptic Writings, and some of those. Then I went back to the Rust in Peace and all this other, especially with Peace Hells and Who's Buying. Um, Wake Up Dead is another good one, but I don't think that's on that album. I believe. I don't know there's all the albums and all the songs on every album out there. I do know some other bands, but not all of them. And sometimes I do forget some of that stuff. So anyway, now this is one of my all-time favorites myself because I love Machine Head. I don't know. I've heard some people saying they don't know if they like Machine Head as well, but I definitely love it. Especially this album, The Blackening, is phenomenal. They have such awesome songs on there. I think that, and I believe that the Is There Anybody Out There? That was one of the songs in that one. And there's another one that I really like, and I can't remember the name of the song. I don't know if it's The Blackening itself, but phenomenal album. If you've never heard their music, check that album out first because they're right. That is by far one of their best albums. Also, I'm trying to remember the name of the song. It's so phenomenal, and I love it. It's great. It's about somebody that's lying to you all the time and stuff like that, I believe. And I'm not gonna believe you're this, that, and the other. It's so phenomenal. It's just the way it sounds. So cool. Anyway, moving on, we're going to try. This is the end of the list, I guess. But there is one thing on the bottom here about 5 hated albums, if released today, would be loved, which is kind of interesting concept. I'm trying to think. Does it show it? Slayer, Diablos in Musica, I think is how you pronounce that. Is that what it's called? Who knows? Um, Crypto Opposite, The Unspoken King, So yeah, these I have no idea either. Um, Earth Crisis, Slither apparently is the album, um, which is interesting. You know, I see some with Loss of Humanity. I wonder if that's in that album apparently. So they got YouTube videos for these, so you have to check those out. I mean, I could always share the link with the article I'm reading right now. Basically, in tune with the same difference is another one. They said if it was hated at the time that it was released, but today it would probably be loved. It's probably because it's too heavy for the time, and people go like this. They'd be going like this, like freaking out, like, "Oh my God, what the heck are they doing? You know, this is so evil or whatever." It might be too much for people. Bad Religion, Into the Unknown. I think I remember hearing about Bad Religion, but I don't know if I know it that well. The Into the Unknown, yeah, I'm gonna have to look these up myself because I don't know all these, unfortunately. But it's rather interesting um, on those albums. So I will end my broadcast for tonight, and I appreciate each and every one of you guys for watching right now. I got 3 people watching. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Just so you know, before you leave, don't forget, like and subscribe for me. I appreciate it. Because like I said before, and I'll say it again, you guys are what makes this happen. So once I get enough viewers, then we'll have a really big channel that they will want to come and talk with me and you guys about themselves. Because that's what I want to do. I want to talk to, all the big rock stars, and maybe not so big rock stars, even some of the ones that are local. I'm thinking about talking to Insulter for sure. Mind Incision, I'm hoping. I think I might have them on board because they're not super huge and they're a Denver band, so that'd be awesome. I forgot what the other band is that I was talking to. That's here. Oh, I know. I want to talk to Purge of the Heretics. They are phenomenal. It's a female vocals like some of the other ones like Ginger and In This Moment and all that stuff, but she's really heavy. I don't know if she sings all of her songs that way or if it was just for the show that she was in at the time, because the fact that they are a lot heavier band that she was opening for, so that could be a possibility. I'm not certain on that, so we'll have to wait and see. I'll have to ask her. Maybe that'd be a good question to ask. And plus, actually, if you guys want to ask some questions for bands, just general questions that I could ask anybody in a band, let me know in the comments below. I can put those in and then use that as a general, how you say, question to ask everybody. What's your favorite color? What is your favorite vehicle? Or whatever else. What kind of dog do you have? Or what kinds of dogs do you like? Or what's your pet peeves? Or whatever it might be. That's what this is all about. And then we'll talk about probably some of the things that we all want to know is what got you into what you are right now. And what would you be doing now if you weren't in rock right now? Which would be kind of interesting. Where were you heading? I do know one artist for sure that she was going to Mortuary College and became a rock star, and she ended up leaving that for the other. But she still goes to college and she still goes to school and she still has an ongoing education, which I'm so happy and proud of for her, because I think, to me, even though that you have something, I think it's always good to have something you learn. And I think that's very important. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. There's 4 people. Love you. Appreciate it. Anyway, hopefully, I guess they were on here for a little while. I don't know. I have to figure this out. As far as this is viewers and concurrent viewers, I think that's people that were watching and then they left. But anyway, I'll talk to you later. And hopefully that will happen. And then we'll have actual rock stars to talk to. But like I said, even though they're rock stars, they're still like you and me. We're all human beings. We're all people. And we all have lives outside our interests and our jobs, right? So thanks for watching. Take care. Don't forget, like and subscribe or headbang those buttons. Thanks. Take care. Have a good night and hope to see you again soon. Take care.